Welcome to Your Number Man, where we share financial strategies, business insights, and inspiring stories to help you navigate a successful business. I am your host, Johan, and my goal is to help you achieve a bigger life in business. Today we are doing our own version of Shark Tank, but that's with a bit of a twist. Let me explain. Our guest is Mark Tozer. He's a businessman, ocean explorer, and a conservation advocate. Mark is the owner and managing director of Maprack and Marlin Office Furniture. He also owns Pepper Tree Furniture Manufacturers, Creative Design Furniture, a delivery company to deliver all his furniture. He owns a stake in Rodney Fox Shark Expeditions. He is a founder of a marine conservation and research center, and he is the founder of a Dive for Cancer. Mark, well, that was a bit of a mouthful and probably not that snappy. Anyway, Mark, I'm happy that we got you out of the water to join us in the studio today. Welcome to the studio. Welcome to Your Number Man.
G'day, how you doing? Thanks for inviting me on.
Yeah, no, it's great. I just mentioned all your accolades, or stuff that you're involved in, that people's probably going to be interested to know how many Marks are in the studio. But I can assure them there's only one, but we're probably going to need to clone you eventually.
Yeah. Actually, it's a nice studio. When you look around, it's getting nice and clean, and got a nice soundproofing on the walls, and it's quite a nice studio to be.
That's great. Let's dive in, as they say. You employ about 80 South Australians. From my understanding, all the businesses work on a system, and then you get involved with your other passion, which is the conservation and tourism. Is there a global kind of culture between the companies, a global kind of vision, purpose? How do you get everything to stick together? How does everybody sing from the same hymn book or chase the same goal?
Sometimes it's difficult, certainly when you have manufacturing. When I started, because I grew up really poor and not a great education when I was young, I left school at 14 and I just was probably heading in the wrong track. So I grew up down Port Adelaide, and it was tough growing up. Dad got terminal cancer when I was 12. We grew up and we never had money to turn the power on. It was just a tough way to grow up. So I think as a young guy, I decided that wasn't for me. I decided I need to make sure I can afford to turn the lights on in my life. So I suppose I started working hard as a young kid. I was doing paper rounds and all that type of thing. Money's never been my goal. I've never worried about money. I've never been concerned about it. It's never been my goal. I always thought it's a byproduct for me of just working hard and making some decisions.
What drives you in the business?
Drives me? Yeah, what does drive me? I get up at sort of 4 o'clock every morning. I go down the beach every day, and then I'm usually at work. I'm at work by 6 a.m. every day. But, I think there's probably around about 80 employees in South Australia. There's 24 in Darwin. Yeah, so I don't know what drives me. It's just, I don't know. I've just been doing it that long. It becomes just a part of my life, I suppose. I've got to do something.
And it's your passion as well, obviously.
Yeah.
The passion to build, and the passion to...
It is, yeah.
For other people to see their dreams.
Yeah, well, you're responsible for a lot of people when you're in business. If you've got 110 employees all around Australia, you're responsible for a lot of families so they can put food on the table. And you know what? I'm really fortunate. A lot of my employees now are hitting 30 years, and some of them have their kids coming through now. So for me, it's quite rewarding. You get to know, you see them get married, you meet their families, and you see the whole journey of their lives. So yeah, I've got 30 employees now, and half of my workforce is over 20. So I've got a good workforce. I'm fortunate that they're all good people.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's almost the magic ingredient in business. 2 magic ingredients. You got to have your cash and make sure the cash comes into you.
Yeah, you need capital. Yeah.
And a good motivated team, and everybody knows what the vision is of the business.
Yeah, and for me, I'm a scruffy guy. I don't shave a lot, and I'm not a suit tie type of guy. I'm a hands-on guy.
So I sit in a wetsuit.
Yeah, pretty much. Most of the time, if you're looking for me in the business, I'll be out the back or doing I'm tinkering around. I'm not really sitting much in the office.
And that would bring me to another question then, because I think we spoke on the phone not too long ago, and you said you make a point of every day there's certain metrics and margins and KPIs that need to be. It's almost like this dashboard.
Yeah, I have a dashboard every day.
That comes in front of you, and if there's something is out of line, it basically sticks out like
it does,
like dog's balls, or
that's the word,
or dorsal fin out of the water for that matter. It's something that we need to go and fix.
But it does, because I have manufacturing, and manufacturing's a tough game. I've been doing it my whole life. I'm a cabinet maker by trade, so I've been manufacturing my whole life. But it's a tough game. So you've got to make sure you have your systems. So you've got to make sure you're into lean manufacturing, which we are, keeping updated with technology. But every night around about 5 o'clock, all the companies feeding me the information, pretty much what we purchases, invoicing, how many holidays, how many sick. There's certain things you need, especially when you've got companies all around the country. There's certain things you need to be able to run the business properly. I know people in business and they look at their figures at the end of the month, and then if they don't make a profit, they've got a problem because you've lost that month. You're not going to get it back ever. So, I watch it daily, and you can spot a problem quickly. I can spot, we didn't invoice something today, with the invoicing's down. And I will ask, what happened? And there'll be a reason. It might be a valid reason. They maybe just forgot or whatever. You got to jump on it daily, because if you leave it for 3 months, you'll be ringing the administrator. So
Exactly.
I get fed usually at 5 o'clock all the information from all the companies, and it gives me a snapshot. And that's all I need, just a snapshot. I don't need a complete P&L every night, just a snapshot, and that can give me all I need. And in the morning, I get the sales figures and I see the GPs. And once again, if there's 100 orders I'm looking at just briefly every morning, but I look at the total, and providing the GPs there, you're going to have a good day.
Yeah, I'm glad somebody's on the same page as me. I'm always profiting about the GPs, gross profit, just so that
If you haven't got your GP, you got nothing.
Yeah, that's right.
You'd be broke.
I always talk about it as your queen in your business. Cash is king, and your GP is your queen.
It is, yeah.
Always chase that. Make sure your margin is correct. And
Absolutely.
as you say, as you've got a metrics in place and you've got your targets, you can change that number, make sure that numbers.
Yeah.
Then you're on the right track.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you do something about it. Proactive.
Yeah.
Because the problem with a lot of companies, and I'm not sticking out fingers to anybody that I know, but a lot, I've seen it a lot, is people neglect, perhaps every 3 months when they're going to do their badge reports.
That's right.
Perhaps then they I've been reconciled this, blah, blah, blah. And at the end of the year, when they see the tax account say, hey, I've got good news for you. I said, what's it? You're not going to pay any tax. Oh, that's fantastic. But you didn't make a profit either. At least I don't have to pay any tax.
Yes, that's right.
Which is the wrong attitude. I'd rather pay 500,000 a year
100%.
tax.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. If you're paying tax, you're doing well.
If you're paying tax, you're doing well. You need a good tax accountant, though, but that's not my job. My job is to help people pay more tax.
I employ 3 accountants, so
yeah,
I listen to them all the time.
Yeah, that's great. Have you ever heard that story about, see that you like the ocean? Richard Branson as well, we talked about, he didn't understand the concept of, because he's dyslexic, and he struggled to understand the concept of gross profit and net profit. And somebody had to draw on the picture, say, okay, now here's the ocean, here's a little net in the ocean, and there's fish in the net. Now, if you take the net out, that's the profit you took out. The rest of the stuff is your gross turnover.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's probably a good way to look at it sometimes. And
Agree.
He's got good consultants, good accountants, he's got good lawyers on his team, but not everybody is as lucky as that.
Agree.
But hasn't got.
I think it doesn't matter if you have a business with 2 people or a business with 400, 500 people. You've got to surround yourself with good people. You've got to have a good accountant. You need a good lawyer, as much as you don't need. My whole life, I've always surrounded myself with the right people. And if I'm spinning around making a bit of a mess in the middle, which I'm capable of, generally they keep me on track.
Yeah.
Mark, that's going to cause problems later. So you've got to surround yourself in business with the right people. Yeah. And whether it be a priest as well. You can supply the whole lot around you. Yeah. And that's how I've lived.
Yeah.
That's how I've kept to my business. I'm not the smartest guy. I'm just a massive risk taker. So,
yeah, that's what I say. You don't have to make sure you just employ somebody smarter than yourself.
100%. And that's what I've always done.
Yeah.
Just to keep me on track.
And get people to give you good advice and you can trust them.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't be everything. You can't be an accountant. You can't be a lawyer. You can't be an engineer in your business. Yeah. You just got to focus on what you do and pay or get advice and follow it. Because I see it a lot. People get advice from accountants and stuff, but they don't follow it. And then in 3 or 4 or 5 months, they're in cash flow difficulties or something. You can not make that stuff happen.
Yeah, you've got to look at your history and also look at your future.
You do, yeah. I try and work on a 5 and 10 year plan. I know where I'm going to be in 5 years or where I want to be in 5 years. And so I do stick down. It's very important in business to do that. Otherwise, if you're going to worry where you are tomorrow in business, that's a bit of a problem. I always know where I want to be in a year and in 5 years and in 10 years, I want to be retired like you.
No, I can assure you, I'm not going to retire soon. I might have the beautiful head of hair as a retirement. I'm still in it for a while, I reckon. All right, let's move a little bit away from business. Was your passion? And a lot of people will ask me, how did I meet you? And I said, actually, I met you through at a time back 10 years ago. I've done my diving course 10 years ago, actually on the 11th of the 11th.
Huh.
Yeah, so 2011, and then probably a few years later, I've tried to dive with you, but you were too fast in the water because you all the fancy gadgets. You had your little scooter on the water. as well. So you're very avid. You've probably been diving since you were, before you could swim almost.
Yeah, I learned at Adelaide Skin Diving Centre, so a long time ago, in 1987 or 88 or something.
Yeah,
A long time ago.
That's great. Your love stories. We love numbers on the show, but we like life-inspiring stories even more. So your fascination with sharks, that was ignited by the story of the USS Indianapolis. And then did you meet Rodney Fox somehow through that as well? Can you tell us a little bit about that story?
Yeah, I've known Rodney for a long time. Probably because Dad got terminal cancer, passed away when I was young. But also I was heading down a bad path myself. And probably was a bit like a father to me. I suppose he still is. And I suppose that's where it started. I've had some really good father figures in my life and one, he was a top accountant in South Australia. He just used to visit me every day. I don't know why I deserved it or how, because I was a rat bag. But he would visit me and just talk to me about business every day
It's amazing.
for 20 years.
I didn't know he was an accountant.
No, not Rodney, but another guy in South Australia. He's passed away now. He was one of South Australia's top accountants. He was high level. And he would just visit me every day and chat. And a bit like Rodney would just visit me and say, Mark, you're drinking too much. He would just tell me off a bit. And those guys kept me online.
But can you tell our audience, because I don't know, there's a lot of people that know Rodney. It's quite a legend.
He is, yeah.
But let's just give us a bit of a background on Rodney.
Rodney, yeah. So Rodney was attacked in 1963 at Aldinga spearfishing. He had 464 stitches in his back and 93 in his 464 in total, but he had 93 in his hand. When he pushed the shark away, his hand went into its mouth, and so he got all his tendons and that were destroyed. And and then he was obviously lucky enough that there was certain things in that day that got him to the hospital and he lived. So he's a very lucky guy.
That's amazing. And then he made from that he pledged to, instead of having revenge on the sharks,
he did. He went out and killed them. He went out and killed him for a little while. But then there's a famous picture. I think there's three or four massive white sharks on a boat with Rodney and Alf Dean and a few guys. And Rodney just said, why would you do that? Why on earth would we go and kill these things? So at that point, he stopped. He didn't kill anymore and he became a conservationist and he protected them. And that's what he does for his life.
That's amazing. Yeah. And the Indianapolis, what's the story about?
I think I've always been, I'm a diver and I've spent thousands of years underwater. If you added it up, it's years. And I've had I love all ocean creatures. So sharks are up there. I suppose everyone's got a fascination with sharks because they're an apex predator, a lot of them. We need them in the ocean because without them, we will die because the seals and whales would get out of control and eat fish and the reef would die. And that's where 71% of our oxygen comes from. So without them, we've got a big problem. Yeah, I suppose Indianapolis was a fascinating story. 900 guys went into the water and the oceanic white tips, I think 600 of them. So they were delivering the bomb for Hiroshima. So the plants was dropped. So I was fascinated by that story. And I think I wanted to learn and the sharks get a bad rap. So I've spent, a lot of my life trying to help them. Yeah,
that's it's actually, I can understand what you're saying because moving quickly back into the numbers, there's actually not a lot of humans that actually get killed by sharks every year.
No,
it's less than 10, isn't it?
Yeah, South Australia has had a little bit of a bad run lately, but there's 10 or 12 a year.
Yeah, and that's worldwide. But we as humans kill about 200 million sharks.
If we're here for an hour, that's 11,000 sharks will get killed. So 11,000 sharks get killed in that every hour in the world. If you're here for 2 hours, that's 22,000. A day. There's a lot of sharks get killed.
And it's mainly for the fin trade?
Fin trade, meat, and bycatch, long lining and targeting specific species and they catch sharks, turtles, dolphins, all sorts of other animals.
Does it happen a lot with tuna fishing as well?
Not so much with tuna. The tuna guys, it's very regulated because it's heavily regulated, pretty good. They do get in the pens and occasionally they can probably kill a few, but it's a regulated industry, so.
The population is declining there. So
white sharks, because a white shark in particular takes 17 years before it can even produce a baby. So if you think about that, and if a few get killed along the way, it's a long way between when a shark can produce a baby. So they got 17 to 20 years before they can get pregnant. A lot can happen to a white shark in that time. And if we've only been protecting them since 90s, there's not real more sharks around. There's more people in the water, and more people everyone's got a camera now. 20 years ago, you'd get out in the water, you'd see a shark, but there's no way of telling people. You'd come home and tell your mates down the pub or something, and they'd think you're lying or something. Yeah. But now everyone puts it on social media, and it looks like there's sharks just everywhere. But there's no more.
And it's so easy to make it. Yeah. You sometimes see the little memes on Facebook and Instagram, you like it's sharks coming out of a little cave underwater. But
yeah, that's right. There's no real
there's probably not a lot of there's probably a lot of fake news going around the sharks.
They're great. Yeah, definitely.
And then your tourism, and that drawn you into become part of the tourism business as well. And that's why you're involved with, you're a part owner of.
Yeah, Rodney Fox Shark Excuse. Years ago, Rodney approached me because the business they just used to lease their boats and rent them. But my whole life, I've always had my own, I believe in your own destiny. So I've always, everything I've done, whether it be, so I had a retail company, I would start a manufacturing company to feed my retail company. So I own it and I control it. That way I'm not in the hands of someone going broke and maybe I can't get supply. So in my whole life, I've set up my own supply chain. So I have a manufacturer and I set up the wholesale company, and it's the same as the freight company. I set up my own freight company because that way I'm not relying on somebody. So my whole supply chain, everything is for, and I own my own, I buy my own buildings. So I can't get kicked out by some landlord or something. So
that is an amazing business model, isn't it?
Yeah.
The whole supply line.
Oh, you own the whole supply line. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
But because it's Pepper Tree Furniture Manufacturers.
That's right. Yeah.
It's a manufacturer, then creative design, it's the wholesaler.
That's right.
And then obviously you've got your resale shops with
Got retail stores, yeah,
with offers, and then your truck company as well.
to deliver everything and freight it around the country.
Yeah, that is amazing.
Pepper Tree supplies all my opposition as well.
Yeah.
So they supply all of my lens opposition, Pepper Tree does. So they make for everybody in South Australia. So I supply my opposition as well. But also I supply whole creative design furniture, supply my opposition all the wholesale as well. So I just don't sell to myself.
That's great. And then in the tourism business, that's totally, you probably make a few benches on the boat and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's it's totally different. That's 100% driven by your aim and your purpose to be involved with the conservation.
Yeah, 100%.
And
Because that's what I got sidetracked. Rodney approached me years ago. They leased their own boats, and the boat never got into survey. It was too rusty. This is years ago, and they didn't know what to do. They didn't have the capital to go and spend millions of dollars in a new boat. So he asked me, would I get involved in the business with his son, Andrew? So we're 50-50, and so we bought the boat. So we bought a boat, and then we leased it to ourselves. But then we've now bought a B&B for our guests to stay in Port Lincoln. Commercial properties we used to rent because they used to just rent sheds in Port Lincoln. So I said, let's buy one. So now we've bought sheds in Port Lincoln for ourselves. We bought a house in Port Lincoln which guests can stay and crew. So yeah, that business is growing. Yeah, so it's good.
that's pretty cool. So it's probably not totally, I'm just going to sidetrack you a little bit because you're talking about Rodney and Andrew as well. But you were also involved, I don't know, were you direct involved a few years ago? We had those boys where were they, in Philippines, that got stuck in a cave.
Oh, no, it wasn't that. It was Harry. Yeah, no, I wasn't involved in that. Only watching it.
Yeah.
That was Richard Harris.
Richard Harris,
Yeah.
the doctor. But it's also a good shout out for South Australian.
Oh,
doctors.
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
I see Harry a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's also an avid diver.
He's an avid diver, and he likes making documentaries and films and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
he was out on the boat it's not long ago, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe a month ago, and we're out mucking around.
All right, I'll save that question for later because I want to talk to you about some documentaries that might be in the pipeline. That's great. So your tourism, and that comes from your passion, but you also, like you said, you got the Airbnb now, you got a boat.
Yeah.
So you're also starting digging into that supply chain.
Exactly right.
So it's almost how you do it all.
Yeah.
Is it just something that comes naturally? You just see opportunities where other people don't see opportunities?
For me, growing up tough, I suppose, I'm the ultimate risk taker. I don't fear failure. So a lot of people in business will maybe not put their toe in the water because they'll be scared of failing or scared of losing their property, scared of losing something. Where for me, I've never, ever had that fear. For me, if I think it's an idea, I'm 100% in. And I don't have that thing that says, oh, don't do that, Mark, because you might lose your house. I've never had it. And I have lost a ton of money in my life. It's not like I haven't made mistakes. I've lost a ton of money, but I've learned by it. But I think I've learned by it anyway.
Yeah.
But it's the same as Rodney Fox. When I got into that business, renting sheds and renting boats and renting, for me, it never, my brain just didn't work. I'm like, why would you rent a shed? It's just gone buy one. Let the business buy one. So I set up another company. We've got Great White Marine own the boat, Great White Properties own all the properties, and Rodney Fox. So we set up a few companies and we own all the equipment. So
Yeah.
I don't know, that's just, to me, that's natural and that's what everybody should do.
Hmm.
I don't know if I'm doing it right or wrong personally.
Well, I think you're doing something right.
I'm an ultimate risk taker. I don't have that thing that says don't
Yeah.
do it. For me, I'm boots and all, 100%.
Is it something, and I do ask this question because the aim of this podcast obviously is
Yeah.
small business owners and help to inspire people to get closer to their numbers as well. So I would, hopefully you're going to tell me, take risks, but do your numbers as well.
100%.
Yeah. But is it something that you've learned? Is it a learned skill, or do you think you've been born with the fact that, yeah, there's an idea.
Yeah, when I look back at my life, I just think when I was a young guy playing, say, hockey or something,
Yeah.
people are being scared to get hit in the head by the ball. I'd put my head where the ball should be. I wasn't scared. I just haven't got that fear that says, don't do that, Mark, you might get hurt. And I think that's reflected on my business life. Nothing has held me back. Just have a go. When I buy a property or something, most of the time it's direct to myself or something. I do the figures. I make sure it's going to stack up and how much rent we can charge. And then I look at it. You do it.
And if you don't want to do all the dreaded spreadsheets, you get somebody to help you doing it.
Yeah, I normally scribble it down on a serviette at the restaurant or something. And
that's the best business plans I've done as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Serviette with a coffee stain.
Exactly right. They're my best ones. But it's very important, I think, in business especially, you got to, because if you're in the hands of a lot of other people, it's very scary because not they put the pricing up or something, you don't know everybody's financial position. So what if you're dealing with somebody for 20 years and they're living on the edge of the bouncing around between having to ring an administrator, receiver, or and they're your major supplier. So if they fall over, you've got a big problem. That's the end of your business more than likely, let alone preferential payments and everything else that will come. But so for me, it's very important to control all that stuff. Not that I'm a control freak or anything, but I've just done that to make sure I'm safe, to make sure my lights never get turned off. From when I was a kid, the lights used to get turned off because we didn't have money for power. My whole life has just been to make sure I've got enough money to keep the lights turned on.
That's great. And sticking with fear as well. So the other thing that, and fear and sharks and their numbers as well. They say that knowledge removes fear. The more we know about things, the more we're understanding and the less we're going to fear them. For instance, like sharks. Once you start they're just like gruesome monsters monsters of the sea. But when you start researching them and understand, like you explained to us now, how where they fit into the ecosystem, you understand what a part is and you understand you look like food to them. So they might have to eat you when you're on a surfboard because you look like a seal.
Yeah, it's a mistake.
It's a mistake, but they don't mean to go and eat you.
No, definitely.
So you understand them. And now let's flip that around as well, because when you see businesses, a lot of business owners has got this fear. I wouldn't really call it fear. It's just this procrastination to get into the numbers because it looks overwhelming to them.
For sure.
It's just like the numbers. The cash flow system doesn't make sense. The balance sheet doesn't make sense. The profit and loss, the stuff is all over the place as well. But in the more that you understand it, the less overwhelming it becomes, and the more you're going to get focused on numbers, and the more you're going to be able to make good decisions or be able to take risk in things that looks like good opportunities. What is your force?
It's got to be your Bible, your P&L. You live and die by it, not by the cash in the bank. I always tell people. You got to live by your P&L. I will look at my P&L every Friday of all the companies, and I will know what's happening by the end of the month to the dollar. We turn in over a lot of money, but I keep a constant eye on my P&L and the balance sheet. You want to make sure,
and your cash flow as well.
And the cash flow, yeah. If your P&L is generally okay, your cash flow should be
Sometimes people take a little bit of time to pay you.
That's right.
Like you say, invoice has not been sent out in time, so you're going to wait a bit longer for your cash.
Yeah. I noticed because I get my nightly figures, if the invoices are not sent out, I'll know. And they'll be sent out the next day because you don't have to, people forget, people make mistakes. But you see it every night, the next day you fix it. There is you will know after 1 month if your business is in strife. Yeah. It's the same as manufacturing. If the guys are not actually making something because they're in the toilet or they're wandering around or making a coffee, you're losing money because it's a manufacturer. It's not a retailer. We go and have a fag and a coffee. It's a manufacturer. They need to be.
You can make 2% difference on your gross profit,
which is a lot of money.
And people do get it, and that's what I sort of profiteering the whole time. It's like that 2% can mean $20,000-$30,000
to live and die by it.
Profit per month.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it depends on big your business.
Exactly, Yeah, so I talk to people in business. They come and see me a little bit, and I try and help them. Yeah, but it's just you've got to be on top of your figures. There's nothing else. You've got to be on top of your figures.
Yeah, nothing else. You say in the sense of it's important. Your Bible, obviously, you've got the environment. You look after your team. Your people's got a good culture there.
That's right.
It just comes natural.
It does. Yeah.
Mark Tozer is not a prick, so I might work you for another 2 years for you.
We have barbecues.
Yeah,
we'll cook up bacon barbecues. Drinks and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a fair day's work for a fair day's pay. And I have a thing, I've never yelled at anybody in my life that I can remember in my business career. And I don't let any of my managers or anybody yell at anybody. Because I said, if I don't and I never have, there's no reason for anybody to yell here. Yeah. Because people have a bad day. Employees don't come to work to make a mistake. They don't come to work to do something wrong or be cheeky or whatever it is. There's a reason behind it. So talk to them. And if they are upset, if they've got problems, Just go home, sort it out. And if it takes a week, whatever, come back there. If their pets, they've got a dog that's sick, bring it to work. So we have dogs at work. We have pets at work. I don't care because, they're good fun to have around.
I want to come and work for you.
Yeah.
My dogs.
And people can bring their dogs to it. I'm happy with all that.
Yeah.
So I suppose that's why I've got employees that have been with me for 30 years or so. But
and the girls or the younger women that's got babies and stuff, have you got a creche at a school as well?
yeah, that's right.
A little bit of a kindergarten.
Yeah, that's all part of it. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I enjoy it all.
Yeah.
I still enjoy business. It's scary and things can go wrong real fast, but I still enjoy it.
Yeah, and you did probably struggle a little bit. How long? I forgot about even that it existed during the time of COVID. Was it 2020?
Yeah, when it was.
I don't know how it affected your business, but definitely the tourism business.
Tourism was tough, except we made more documentaries. So for us, it wasn't too bad. We made a lot of some TV shows and some documentaries. So it was actually, we were fine.
Yeah.
We branched off and did a lot more other stuff.
Yeah.
So it was a great time to make documentaries and stuff because there was no other boats in the water. There was nobody around. So we're able to have this good time.
And it obviously did the office business as well because you supplied offices.
Yeah, that was an amazing time actually because everybody went and worked from home. So we all went and bought chairs from home, desks from home. So if you think about
and the company probably paid for that.
The company pays for it. So
go set up a home office, I'll pay for you.
Yeah, certainly on a Saturday, our turnover went up on a Saturday, probably 50%, which is massive. A Saturday, and it lasted for years. And then people went back to work, back to the office, and then it had to be changed for screening and this and that. So yeah, it was all good. I survived.
And I like the fact I had a bit of a look at your website, and probably a long time ago, I actually went past your business, but I actually had a look at your new stuff. It's very trendy.
Yeah,
so you've got to keep up with all the trendy stuff. Got little booths that people can sit in, and if you're making a phone call, and I could probably sit in. I think where I work from in Gawler, we've got one of those little booths. I can almost record a podcast and where I sit.
You can
because it's nice. And
I don't travel anymore to China. It's been might be 10 years now since I've been anymore.
Yeah.
But the team go twice a year to see all the latest products and stuff. So yeah, they go. There's a show on this a couple of weeks, I think. So they're heading to China again. So yeah. We keep up with it. You got to keep up with it.
So there's, because obviously a lot of the stuff gets manufactured in South Australia.
I manufacture because I believe in supporting Australia. I love Australia. It's been really good to make it. And it's a beautiful country and the people are really cool. So I love Australia and I love supporting it. So if it'd be easy for me not to be a landlord and not to have a manufacturer, trust me. But I still believe in employing Australians and getting apprentices. So I try and put apprentices on all the time. So I try and keep putting back for it as well.
Have you got some sort of academy as well within your business? Well, for the apprentices that you take on? As in a training?
Yeah, no, we use just the trade schools.
Yeah, we
use trade schools. It's a 4-year apprenticeship.
Yeah,
so,
that's for carpenters.
Cabinet makers, So I've been doing that my whole life.
Yeah.
Getting apprentices and put them through.
After school, when you were 14, 15, you went straight to trade school?
Yeah. When I got kicked out of school, and Mum said, "What are you going to do now?" And I said, "I'll go and get a trade shop." So I did. I went in. The first one I bumped into was a cabinet maker, and I got a job because you just walk into any business back 30 odd years ago and get a job. So and an apprenticeship, so you could decide what you wanted. I probably should have been an accountant, but
if you were an accountant, you probably got stuck on the numbers.
That's right. So I did a trade and then I left South Australia, I think 91 or 92, something like that. I needed to straighten my life out a bit and I went to Darwin for 7 or 8 years and I went to uni up there. So that was good fun.
And you studied a bit of business there?
No, I did diploma of building design and engineering.
Wow.
So I did that. And then once I'd finished all of that, and I'd been working in business up there, then I come back to South Australia after that. And the rest is history. I would just work hard.
Just work hard and make sure you're on top of all the things and take advice from good people that you can trust.
Yeah, because I'm not that smart. Surround yourself with smart people. And if they give you advice, listen to it. If they say you're going to go sideways here or there, make sure you listen to what they're saying.
I've got to make a list from all the takeaways we're going to take out of this. Because I like your challenge your business model the whole time. Surround yourself with smart people. Look into your numbers. Cherish your team because that's your livelihood, your capital.
It's funny. I still mentor people in business and I help people in business a little bit. But I say to people, how much money do you want to make? I start backwards. So I'm there, how much money do you want to make? If they say to me they want to make $250,000, okay, that's your profit. Put $250,000 and reverse engineer all the way down to how you're going to get it. It's not that hard. To me, it's really basics. Because if you start, I'm going to employ 5 people, I'm going to do this, and I wonder what the profit will be. Who knows? It might be a profit, or it might be no profit. So I always say, work out how much money you want to make. Put that down first and come backwards. And that will tell you how many people you need to employ. That will tell you your overheads. That will tell you how many either selling or making or whatever it is you're doing or hours you need to build. That's how you get that's how you do it.
Yeah.
That's how I've always done.
I agree. That's what I sometimes sit and scribble on a serviette when I'm going for a coffee with a client.
Yeah.
Work it backwards.
Work it backwards.
Yeah. I don't have all that massive amount of companies like you.
Yeah.
Because you've also got a lot of experience to fall back.
I have, yeah. I have.
In various industries.
I have. I'm really fortunate that I have a manufacturing, retail, wholesale, tourism, transport. So I've got lots. So I'm very fortunate that I've got all those things in my head that I understand. I don't know how I understand it because there was no book I read, but.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I don't know if you're a fan of Richard Branson or not.
Yeah, well,
some
Richard
people
Branson,
like him, some people don't like him, but he's got an interesting
Good on him. Yeah.
thing as well. And a lot of the stuff that I read and heard about him is he said, I don't mean to become this rich, or I don't need to become
the same. Yeah.
He's got like 50 companies. He's got his Virgin brand, and he started a magazine when he was 16 years old at school. He got kicked out of school. And he started a magazine and he couldn't read. How the hell is that for craziness?
Yeah.
And when he started Virgin Australia, I didn't fact check that one.
Yeah.
When he started Virgin Australia, he didn't have the money to put it all up. So he went on put waiting lists out, said to people, okay, we're going to start a new airline, maybe $200, and I'll make sure that you're going to get a good flight within the next 6 months or whatever.
Yeah. And he probably doesn't have any fear of getting hurt, but not a fear of business or something. I'm not sure if it's creative or what that is.
I don't know. Sometimes you wish that fear is, what I say, it's false evidence appearing real. That's what it fears. It's not really, but that's how you can look at it. Perhaps fear. It's only something that you see that might not really be there. You don't want to die, get eaten by a shark.
No, that's right.
Go broke and your family's going to be in the dark and there won't be any food to eat.
Yeah.
But if you don't take that plunge or that fear, your life might at risk. You might not.
Yeah. And you've got to be careful. And business is tough. It doesn't matter what. If it was easy, we would all do it. But it also comes a time when you have to jump out, because I've seen so many guys in my life, they've done such a fantastic job in business, and they got to a certain age, they start making mistakes, they end up in trouble. But for the first 30 years, they've done a wonderful job. So I'm very well aware of myself that at some point I've got to jump out before I stuff it all up, because look, this crazy thing over my life. But there is a point that it can't continue and I've got to get out because I will stuff it up. So I've seen it many times, and I don't want to be one of those guys that get to the end of your business career and mucked it up. So you get out before that happens.
Yeah, that's right. Tell me a little bit about your involvement with Die for Cancer. I think I've done it 1 year with you guys at Glen Elk a long time ago, but because you're still doing it every year.
Yeah, we haven't done this year. It'll be every other year at the moment. COVID's put it on its head a little bit. Yeah, I started that obviously because my dad died when I was young, and my sister died breast cancer when she was 36. So it was a way for me to put back. I don't know if I was feeling guilty that I was alive and didn't get cancer, and the rest everybody else did. I'm not sure what did it, but I was probably driven I wanted to get money for the Cancer Council. I can give them money, but I wanted, involve my passion, my sport, if scuba diving is classed as a sport. And so I rallied everyone together, my mates, and I think we've raised a couple $100,000 in South Australia for the Cancer Council. And then I've run them around Australia. I've run it in Belgium, Holland and Switzerland as well.
New Zealand?
I did one in New Zealand as well, yeah. I have a Steve Bloom, that's right. So but it was good for the industry as well, because, it's community. You get everyone together, everyone has a great time. They get to go diving, and you get 120, 150 divers in the water. Fantastic.
Yeah, you get awareness out as well.
You get awareness. Yeah. And it's important. The Cancer Council is what I believe in, because they're all rounder. They're not just targeting breast or a specific brain cancer or something. They're helping people, and they're helping families, because families, it's very hard when your loved one gets cancer, because you start mourning. What I've worked out, I see people, and sadly when someone does pass, it's a relief. You generally hear them say, it's a terrible day. It's a relief. They're out of them. It's because they've been mourning for 5 or 7 years. Since the first time they got the diagnosis, family member. It's a very sad time. So I just wanted to help and do my bit for put back into society. I'm a Cancer Council ambassador, but it's very important for me that's just one thing I can do that hopefully makes a difference.
Yeah, it does. And perhaps people look at your lifestyle as well, because I don't know, some people say health is also a big part of to prevent cancer.
Yeah.
And specifically to relieve stress.
Yeah.
You can't go around and like buying companies and taking a lot of risk, not have a lot of stress,
No,
but
that's right.
getting out there, getting on a boat, jump in the ocean, that's all stress relieving lifestyle.
It's how you deal with it. Trust me, I get some pretty stressful days, but it's how you deal with it. Some things you can't change. Or some things you can't change at 2 o'clock in the morning when they will jump into your brain. Every morning I head down to Glenelg Beach. I live down Glenelg and I head down the beach every morning. And for me, that's my happy place. And it's where I start to deal with my issues because I've got daily issues. When you got a lot going on, you've got daily stuff going on. So I'll walk out of that. And by the time I get home and I have my shower and breakfast and get to work, I'm ready to go. And you've got the problems solved, most of them. But I don't take it personally.
Yeah, and talking about health, because I think I saw a few years ago that you chat with this bloke here. I read his book, Stick Severinsen. Stick. And he is just a bit of backup for people. We're not on video yet. This is a guy who's been an Olympic deep diver.
Under the ice,
And he can keep his breath for what?
21 minutes or something?
21 minutes. That's crazy. But he's also very much into yoga as well.
He is.
And breath work. Did you perhaps take a page from his book as well and then use that breath work and use that to calming your mind?
Definitely. I'm a pretty calm guy. But trust me, there's times I'm very stressed, but you just got to deal with the pain. You got to go to work and there's things that are ugly. You got to do it. You just got to do it. And don't let it go for a week or 2 or 3 because it's only going to get worse. It's not going to get any better. There's sometimes you have to deal with some horrible stuff. You just deal with it because once you've done it, whatever it is, you can breathe properly. You feel a bit better. That's what I always do. I just deal with it, so I don't
just deal with it. Yeah,
because you've got too many problems in life.
Business is hard.
Business is hard. So there's a lot of things get thrown at you every day, whether it be government, whether it be just whatever it's coming at you. It's hard. But I think the biggest thing for people, which is always capital, it's always money that really is the big stress for people in business. It's have they got enough capital? Do they want to borrow against their houses? It's a tough world out there. And without capital, if you're sitting on the edge and you don't have it, it's a bloody hard game.
Yeah. And cash is definitely, it's a big issue.
The world's got a capital issue.
Yeah.
Right now. There isn't any.
Yeah.
So
every country is basically broke.
It's a problem out there. So I'm not sure in the next few years what's going to happen with that. The cost of funds is expensive at the moment. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it is expensive. I don't know. Should be all a dose program
that's right.
in each country or in your business. Try to look at your efficiencies. I don't know if you want to go to that extremes, but that it is tough and to really be conscious of your goals and look at your numbers, make sure that your people are on the same page.
Agree.
That's basically it. There's a few.
It is your nightly numbers, and if you're checking that, it's okay. You will spot your problems, and don't look at your P&L when it's best time. Look at it every Friday.
Yeah, that's right.
And a lot of people else that I see say to them, give us a look at your balance sheet. How are you traveling? And the balance sheet is crazy. It's missing data. It's got stuff from 10 years ago that should have been journaled out. And I ask, what about this? And trust me, I'm not that smart, but things jump out like I don't know what's that.
I think you're underselling yourself. You're striking as pretty smart, Mark.
People don't understand their balance sheet. And that's not their fault, but they need to be shown. They need to know that is going to, you can live and die by a balance sheet.
Yeah, your balance sheet. I always use the analogy. Your balance sheet is like your house. It's your beautiful dream that you built.
It is.
You look under it. Oh, wow, look at my equity. Oh,
exactly right.
Look at my assets. I'm going to use that assets a little bit more. Yeah.
And it's also very important to look in their entitlements.
Yeah.
Because if you've got 100 employees, and if they've been there for 30 years, 20 years, you've got a lot of entitlements.
So you've paid a lot of long services.
Yeah.
There's people
constantly.
Constantly. Your people are always like going constantly around Australia in a caravan.
Yeah, good on that. I think it's great. You've got to, because when people get in the strife in business, that's the first things they stop doing is paying super work cover. And those things are only going to catch you out. And then so it's super work cover in the ATO. It's like they start using them as the bank. It's a very hard thing to get out of when they start doing that. Very hard. So
it is, Once you're in that spiral of the ATO,
it's very hard.
Yeah,
I get it. I've never done it, but I get it because if you've got a business, it's your life. It's life and death. If you've got to be able to keep your business going, okay, they're probably not going to pay the ATO because if you've got to pay them $50,000 pass, that's $50,000 in board, or it's $50,000 in product, or it could be your wages. It's the things like that are going to.
It is. It's a tough one. Technically, it's not really your money. It's GST that you're going to pay over.
Exactly.
It's a bit more. If it's like income tax, that's my money. I worked for it, but the more is you're going to pay them 20, 25% or whatever.
Yeah. But I think most businesses that you come across, I'm helping a friend at the moment, and his problems, to me, when I look at it, he wants to pull his hair out. He's struggling. It's been years, but they're not that big of problems. I said, let's go for a walk. It shows morale. I said, we've got too much paper shuffling, too much. I just work with him every week now. We've started changing all of these things. It's getting better.
So that's part of your mentoring thing that you got as well.
I love seeing people make their dreams happen because mine have happened.
Yeah.
My dreams.
Give back, like you give back to the environment. You
got
give back to the other businesses.
Yeah. So I enjoy people, but money has never driven me because I'm not, it's just, as I said, it's just a byproduct of working 80 hours a week most of your life. But seeing other people make their dreams happen, and if that is making a lot of money, I love helping them.
Yeah.
I've got some people that I've helped and their dreams have happened.
Yeah.
And I've said, I'll be a partner in the business. I don't want to be a partner in the business. I don't want any money. You can't buy me lunch. Let's go and get a good bottle of red wine. You can buy that.
Yeah.
But I've never ever wanted the money. But I love seeing people, if their dream is to be rich, I love seeing people be rich.
Yeah.
Good on them, because that's what they want to do.
It's your reward.
It's their reward.
And you can, if you spend it wisely, you can put it back into the economy or back into causes, your causes, cancer or the environment or
absolutely. Case. No, I love seeing people make it because, as I said, my dreams have happened. I've been able to make all my cool stuff that I wanted to do and still do. I do some pretty cool stuff. Yeah. And so it's good. So I wish everybody could do the same.
Yeah. But one of my questions here was, and we basically answered that because I always like to ask my guests, if a young person come to them and you just basically said it, you like helping people and you're a mentor. If a young person come to you and says, hey, Mark, I'm really good at building houses, or I'm good at washing dogs, or whatever the case, and I'm thinking of starting this business. What advice would you give them?
I'd only ask them one question, which is, what I do ask, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to be in business?
Yeah.
It depends what answer they give me as how it's going to go. If they say to make money, I'm going to help them, because you're not going to be in business to be a charity. Okay. You're not going to be in business to employ people, because that's all hard. If you first say, I want to be in business to make money, I can help them with that. We can work on that. But a lot of people, Australia's a funny place. They don't say that. They'll say, I just want to have a business and I want to employ 10 people and I want to drive a BMW or something. But you want to be in business to make money. That's why you're doing it. You're not doing it for other reasons.
And you're doing it to want to work, something that's going to give you joy and fulfillment, isn't it? You want to be while you're making money. So you don't want to go and polish somebody else's shoes every morning.
That's right.
If you're not gonna like it, and you might be down there doing that.
That's right. Yeah. But that's the main thing. If they want to, you can work with that. I can say, okay, what's your idea? You can work with that.
Okay. And then
I do. I try and help people. Most of my time spent these days is helping guys that I probably should have put their hand up a year earlier and said they're in trouble. When people put their hand up in business and ask for help, usually when it's a bit late. They don't put it up a year when it's starting to get in trouble. They put it up once. There's no money left. They've got an 8-year debt. They've worked up a super. There's no entitlement money. That's when they say, can you help? We're in trouble. So it'd be great if we could just put our hands up a little bit earlier and just say, I need a hand. Because most businesses can be saved. Most are fine. It's just
sometimes, they say if you don't ask, the answer is always no.
Absolutely. Yeah. And as I said, I was very fortunate to be trained by a very powerful accountant in South Australia every day, just about. So
that's the mate of Rodney Fox.
No, it's another guy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But very powerful sort of accountant in South Australia. He's passed away now. So
that's one of your mentors as well, because I was going to ask you about some of your business mentors was.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, so certainly he was. Ken Tregline. Then I was lucky also in Darwin. I had a couple of Greek guys, and they taught me probably rough and ready business. They did teach me a lot of business too. And so a little bit of what not to do. Also, they were bloody hard workers. I'm still friends with them now 30 years ago, but sadly he's 74 now and they've sort of lost everything. It's a tough old world out there, and they're still wonderful friends of mine. And I employ one of them now just to keep them going. But so that was good for me to learn from those guys. And then 20, maybe more than 25 years of Ken just chatting every day. Just there. I'm not sure why he would do that, because, I was a rat bag. I was,
people saw your potential.
Not sure what it was, but he would just talk. And I've got a good friend, a couple of powerful barristers they've helped me, and nobody needs to help me. For some reason, they've just been nice and kind to me and kept me out of trouble. I get in trouble, don't worry, but they've kept me out of trouble as well. So I've been super lucky. Yeah, super lucky. I'm the luckiest guy on this planet.
Yeah, I'm pretty content with you. Yeah,
I wake up every morning. I go to the beach.
To the beach and go and I'm swim with sharks.
I do have a fantastic life.
Yeah.
It's from when I look back at my youth, and it was troubled and no money, growing up in Port Adelaide with just zero money. Mum would drink too much. Dad had terminal cancer. My sister gone. It was a tough way to grow up. When I look back at that, because I could have gone any old way, which I was going in a bad way. So I could have just ended up dead or in prison, drugs or alcohol,
On
something.
the street.
On the
yeah.
street, yeah. For some reason, I didn't. I was certainly getting there, but
Yeah.
18 and something. I bought my first house at 18, so not sure why I did that. I just worked, and then I thought I'm gonna have to live somewhere because Mum's gone and Dad had passed away, and Mum was going. So for me, she was like, "I'm going, and good luck in life."
And that was with an apprentice salary.
Yeah. I used to take home $74 a week or something like that. And I bought a house at Peterhead. It was pretty much the worst house in the best street. And then I lived there for 3 or 4 years, and I rented it out to a mate for another 20. And then I just said, "Would you just buy it?" Just buy it off me. So I let him buy it off me for fuck all, but that's okay. He's a friend,
Yeah.
so he needed a bit of a hand. So it all worked out well.
Wow, that's amazing. Things just, I guess, probably the energy that you put out as well, and the fact that you probably don't always say it aloud. You seem like a very appreciative person as well.
Yeah.
You appreciate life. You appreciate the fact that you're not out in the street. You
Definitely.
find a way to be in here, and whatever you do every morning when you go on the beach.
Yeah.
Probably.
But I enjoy helping people.
Yeah.
Whether it be Cancer Council, whether it be the museum, whether it be just in business, whatever, I do enjoy helping people because people have helped me. And if people didn't help me, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be chatting to you right now. God knows what I'd be doing. People have helped me. So there's no reason I wouldn't help other people. They're not going to hurt me. And if they make their dreams happen, good for them.
That's amazing. No, I love that attitude. And from a conservation point of view, any big mentors there? My big mentor, I wouldn't say mentor, but I couldn't wait for Saturday evenings. TV just came out in South Africa, was long after it happened in Australia. I couldn't wait for Saturday evenings. We had Jacques Cousteau.
Jacques Cousteau, yeah.
On his, I think the series was called For Sake of Survival. Terwille van Leven, that's Afrikaans. So directly means for the sake of survival. And it was just a fascinating, it was still in black and white.
Yeah, that's cool.
And him and his team would dive, and he's got his mini little submarine that they were going, and I see this big lobsters under the water, and frogs in the water. I just like, so you obviously had a few of those.
But once again, because I will have the TV on, but I have 10 things running at once. So I have a TV on, and that's my phone buzzing, and I have a laptop going. I'll be half reading a book all at the same time. So I just do all this stuff. It's hard for me to focus singularly. I'm a bit out there. But to mentor, sure. What was the question?
Any mentors on that front from the conservation?
Oh, probably, Rodney, Valerie Taylor, Valerie Taylor, Rodney, Sylvia Earle from America. I've been fortunate to...
They're all involved with sharks.
Yeah, Sylvia's certainly submarines and all types of things. But in conservation, And also, when I was a young fella, I used to go to Semaphore Beach snorkeling. And I remember seeing all the grass, seagrass, and the crabs and the fish and everything. And I just thought, I'm coming here for the rest of my life. This is beautiful. It's my happy place. And we can't bugger it up, so I'm going to keep coming here. And 20 years ago, I slowly see it's a desert now. There's no fish, there's no seaweed, there's nothing. It's just a desert.
Where's that in Port Adelaide?
Semaphore.
Semaphore.
Yeah, that's the jetty there. And now it is actually desert. So as a human race, we have actually destroyed it, which is bloody sad. I think I just work hard to... Everyone's got a voice. I just try and prevent those types of things if I can.
What destroy in your part? What would the reason be that it's been destroyed?
More than likely runoff pollution, stuff like that. Because there's no
oil
trawlers.
and plastics.
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah.
So
it's more or less runoff and just toxin in the water was killed it. So probably that, For me, that was a real eye-opener for me as a young guy, just to think, wow, I thought I'd be coming here till I'm going to drop dead, and there's nothing there anymore. So that was just something that I thought, I've got to make a change. I need to inspire people to love the ocean like I do. It's my happy place, and it's where I feel good. I need to inspire people to love what I do, to love the ocean. Without it, we die. So we have to love it, and we have to protect it, and we have to protect everything in it.
Don't take it for granted.
No, that's where our oxygen comes from.
Yeah.
So without it, we're not going to die.
So what is next for Mark Tozer? You're doing documentaries, so you're going to make...
We're working on a documentary at the moment. It's called Rodney Fox, Past, Present and Future.
Yeah.
So we're filming that now. That'll be in the cinemas. So that's Rodney's life from when he got bitten to now, and then what we're going to do in the future. So that's a cool...
So it's going to be like a full 90-minute...
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So we've been working on that.
That's going to be on Netflix as well.
Netflix and probably on the cinemas. I'm probably doing a bit of work with Albie Mangles. If you know Albie Mangles is an adventurer.
Yeah.
I'll be doing a little bit of work with him, maybe a doco or something like that. A bit of a travel show. So I don't know. Always something going on.
Always something going on, yeah. But and the business is still, they're operating on, as long as you check your Bible every day.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You've got your general managers in place.
I have a CEO of the group.
Yeah.
And he's a lovely guy, Jeff. So I have a CEO of the group. So everyone really goes to him these days. They'll come to me if it's my door. I've never shut the door in my office ever. So if it's an open door policy for me. Just if you've got something you need to sip, just walk in. Say, Mark, I need to talk to you. So I always talk to everybody. Yeah, they go to Jeff, but if they don't want to for whatever reason, because they want to come to me, they do.
Yeah.
So open door policy. I don't know why I went on that tangent, but there you go.
There you go. No, geez, Mark, we've got to get more of you blokes, your kind of blokes in this world. Yeah, we need some more. But great, good businessman. You're really doing your part for environment, for your charities that you're involved in. I really appreciate you coming in today.
Yeah, no worries.
That's amazing. And yeah, I wish you well. And I definitely I want people to actually hit that subscribe button and get a bit more members in, that I can actually get myself a trip to Port Lincoln and go swim with the sharks.
That's right.
I bought myself a t-shirt that I bought in Cape Town a few years ago. So we're going to take a few pictures in that t-shirt.
There's no sharks, sadly, in South Africa anymore, because you had two killer whales coming. They were killing up to 20, they're called port and starboard, and they were killing up to 20 white sharks a day. So they were in South Africa, they've shifted the whole population now. So the population of white sharks has gone, and it's shifted, and it will never come back.
Oh.
So they've shifted the population.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. You had a killer whales just destroying a white shark.
Yeah, because that's the enemy of the white.
It's their enemy. They get the liver, because the liver's about 30%, 30% of a white shark's body, and they just roll it over and get the oil out of the liver because it's full of nutrients. So the killer whales love it. Yeah, 20 a day.
Wow. So all that, because I went to, I think it's Shark Alley. It's close to Cape Town.
Yeah, that's right.
By that area there. And it was just like a lot of sharks.
That's right. They're all gone. The killer whales got them. Yeah.
Well, what would have happened? Oh, man, I just know that.
Yeah, it's called port and starboard. If you Google port and starboard, killer whales, you can see what they do.
And
a couple of cheeky ones.
What will happen if it comes to where you are in Port Lincoln?
They come through occasionally.
Yeah.
Killer whale pole. We just had one not long ago. Yeah, a couple come through. If they get a white shark, they'll get the liver, and then the carcass goes down. The white sharks will disappear for months. They're scared. It's like a white shark. If it's coming towards you, you punch it in the nose, it's not going to bite you and disappear, because they're ambush predators. They don't want to fight you. And so if there's a dead white shark on the bottom in Port Lincoln, they're going to go. They're not going to come around because they think they're scared. They don't want to get hurt. They're white sharks. So they're like, oh, we'll come back later. So they disappear for months. Bad for business.
Yeah. And killer whales always seem so placid.
Yeah, you can swim with them. I think the only deaths have been in captivity. So there's been no recorded deaths out in the wild, and you can actually just go diving with them and play. Yeah, fascinating, though, because they can land on the beach themselves, grab a seal and get off the beach.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's an amazing animal, considering it probably weighs 5 tons or something.
I've seen that. Mark, just before we go, I might as well, you probably heard about a group, Polaris, in Salisbury, in their business centre.
Oh, yeah.
So just a quick shout out for them. They helped me a little bit with funding, so a sponsor of the show as well.
Oh, yeah, cool.
So I just want to say, Polaris is a sponsor of the show, and I'll put some of the show notes underneath, so have a look at them as well. They involved with business fundamentals, and they also run a mentorship group. So, for everybody that can't get to speak to Mark for a bit of mentorship, and that's only going to cost you a bottle of wine and perhaps a lunch.
$20.
You can always go to Polaris. They're also going to help you with some mentorship as well. But anyway, all the show notes of Mark, I can't put all your business on there, but I'm definitely going to put a shark detail on there. Perhaps if people want to learn more about sharks,
the museum's at Myland.
Myland.
Yep, next to Myland Oxford, that's where I put it.
All right, that's the museum.
Yep.
And it's called the Rodney Fox and Mark Tozer Museum.
Yeah, Conservation Centre and Research Centre. Yeah,
that's great. Okay, and that is a wrap for today. Also, just quickly before we go, I've put out a new product as well. It's called Financial Clarity for Business Success. It's a great product. It helps you really to dig into your numbers, dive deep into numbers in the sense of for this episode, and understand your KPIs, your cash flow, your profit and loss, which Mark mentioned, and your budgeting, your forecasting. It's a few models in there. It's an 8-week course which I put out in it. And give me a call or hit me up on email or whatever, and I can discuss with you, and we'll see if that course fits you. It's a great course, so please have a look at that. It's also on the show notes. And this is me and Mark Tozer. I am your number man. Ciao.